Hello friends, how are you? Breaking news today, please subscribe my channel. Ed Balls has been criticized by Good Morning Britain viewers for not being vocal enough during an on-air discussion of recent winter fuel cuts. The presenter, 57, is married to the Home Secretary and Labour MP Yvette Cooper, 55, who voted for older people not in receipt of pension credits or other means-tested benefits to no longer receive winter fuel payments from this year onwards. Balls' marriage became a point of contention when Labour won the 2024 election in July. Weeks later, 8,201 angry viewers sent complaints to the broadcaster watchdog Ofcom after Balls was allowed to interview his own wife about her Home Secretary role on The Breakfast Show. During Tuesday's episode of Good Morning Britain, viewers expressed shock that Balls was still allowed to present the program and called for him to be removed from the show. Why the F*** is Ed Balls still on #Good Morning Britain at ITV? Question one viewer. He's BL***dy useless. There are tons of actual journalists out there who could do the job better. They wouldn't be sitting there like a lemon whilst the co-anchor interviews their wife, mates, former colleagues etc. Another person added, I am just sick of Balls. Hasn't he twigged that his wife is a very senior member of the government he is constantly undermining? Meanwhile, a third viewer claimed Balls had been very quiet on winter fuel cuts, and pointed out his wife actually voted for the cuts and put pensioners at risk this winter. The Independent has contacted ITV and Ed Balls' representatives for comment. Balls has been married to Cooper for more than 25 years. Prior to interviewing her in August, he claimed he had genuine questions for his wife and claimed he had rarely seen her at all in the last week due to her busy work schedule. The controversy comes shortly after it was revealed Labour's own research had suggested thousands of pensioners could die if the government proceeds with its plan to cut winter fuel payments for those not on benefits. Analysis published in 2017, when Sir Keir Starmer was in the shadow cabinet, warned that Conservative plans to cut the fuel allowance for 10 million pensioners would increase excess deaths by 3,850 that winter. The proposal, put forward by Theresa May's government, was dubbed the single biggest attack on pensioners in a generation in our country. Former Pensions Minister Baroness Altman urged the government to U-turn on the planned cuts, claiming it may not be aware of the extent of poverty among pensioners. She told Times Radio that the 1 to 2 million people slightly above the means test threshold are poorer than those on pension credit and there is no mitigation for them. Altman added, the Chancellor and the Prime Minister may not be aware of just how there are so many poor pensioners in this country and are focusing perhaps just on those who are very well off. Thousands of angry viewers have sent complaints to the broadcaster watchdog Ofcom over Good Morning Britain presenter Ed Balls interviewing his wife Yvette Cooper on Monday, August 5. It comes in a busy week for the watchdog, which also published a letter it had sent to social media companies including Elon Musk's X, formerly Twitter, over misinformation and videos being shared on their platforms. Ofcom today announced that 8,201 people had complained about Good Morning Britain (GMB) on August 5 following the decision by the popular breakfast show to allow presenter Ed Balls to interview his own wife over her political role as Home Secretary. Mr. Balls, himself a former Labour leadership candidate and cabinet minister, was grilling Ms. Cooper about the riots and far-right civil unrest spreading across the country. GMB has made no comment on the complaints, but on the day there was fury over the program's decision not to ask Mr. Balls to stand back from an interview where his relationship with Ms. Cooper left his impartiality in question. It was likened to previous cases against broadcaster GB News who Ofcom found to have broken the rules when Tory MPs working as presenters interviewed other Tory MPs, ahead of the interview, mostly by co-host Kate Garraway. Mr. Balls, who has been married to Ms. Cooper for more than 25 years, insisted he had genuine questions for his wife, as he has rarely seen her at all in the last week because of the disorder on the streets. But many compared his softer approach to an earlier interview with Labour MP Zara Sultana, who had an angry interview with Garraway and Balls about the rioters, when they interrupted her as she called for political leaders to condemn the protests as Islamophobic and racist. Meanwhile, in a week where concerns have been raised about Elon Musk's tweets about the UK, many of which were directed attacks at Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, Ofcom has issued a letter of warning to social media platforms. It has made it clear it is worried about content sharing of violent images and disinformation, which some believe has helped fuel the far-right riots. In letter to online platforms, Ofcom's Director of Online Safety Gil Whitehead said, under Ofcom's regulations that predate the Online Safety Act, UK-based video sharing platforms must protect their users from videos likely to incite violence or hatred. We therefore expect video sharing platforms to ensure their systems and processes are effective in anticipating and responding to the potential spread of harmful video material stemming from the recent events. He went on, Ofcom has moved quickly to consult on risk assessment guidance and codes of practice on illegal harms, setting out the practical steps we expect services to deploy across a range of areas including governance, content moderation, user reporting and account removal. We have also published draft guidance on how companies can judge whether content or activity is illegal. As with all of our work, our proposals recognize the importance of protecting freedom of expression. We expect continued engagement with companies over this period to understand the specific issues they face, and we welcome the proactive approaches that have been deployed by some services in relation to these acts of violence across the UK. He added, in a few months, new safety duties under the Online Safety Act will be in place, but you can act now. There is no need to wait to make your sites and apps safer for users. In its weekly bulletin, Ofcom also revealed that GB News has itself had another program attracting complaints with 298 submitted about Britain's newsroom on July 29.